there's any advice I give to myself that I've just been thinking about, it'd be to just sit down and put the phone away. Sit down on the chair and put the phone away. I put the laptop there. I'm about to just go to the gym. And I think this advice I really need to tell myself. And amongst the serious conversations, more specifically, the second conversation, in which it was just me and Dan in the room for the most part, he said something to me which I may not have mentioned in the video that I uploaded today, but created both today and yesterday, predominantly yesterday, and that would be to take a step in his shoes. Another thing would be what my sister said to me about me thinking that I'm always right. I thought my dad did this, and I'd still stick with that and say he does. He makes it seem like his opinions are fact. For example, if he wants to describe characteristics that he sees in me, he would say, I am this and I am that. Maybe it's time to look at in myself and ask, hold up a sec, do I do the same thing? That's the question that I ask myself when thinking about saying whether my opinions are, I word my opinions like fact or opinion. Do I actually word my opinions, for example, when describing someone, like their fact? I think one example I can think of right now would actually support the fact that I have done this. For example, saying that my dad lacks emotional self-control. He lacks emotional self-control. But there's one part that's missing, that I believe before all of that. It's like, that is fact, without even giving any evidence towards that being the case. It's like, he lacks emotional self-control, not I believe he lacks emotional self-control because he's gone and done this and that. And with the evidence explaining, would I go and explain why I think that shows a lack in emotional self-control? Not that I can think of right now, no. I think the furthest, if ever, I'd go towards further explaining the point in the format I've just given would be to give an example, and then that would be it. Even though nowadays I do make myself think more about why do I think the way I do, I do even sometimes have to ask myself, why do I think this way? But when it comes to really improving my life in ways that I know I could be doing, it'd be to sit by the computer, just open up the laptop, sit on the chair, open up the laptop, put the phone away, out in the other room, instead of having it in my sister's room, as I'm in now, put it in my room, where I'm not sitting. I thought, you know what, there are a couple girls working in the gym, so why not go there and say hi? But I might not, because now I know I don't have that same sort of mindset where I'd be thinking, for example, even Hattie, I was talking about Hattie, Hattie's got a fat ass. Nah. I feel very grateful that I've changed, that my mindset's changed to one that it is now. Is this the pinnacle of the ideal mindset that I'd want to have in the future? No, maybe not. No, maybe not. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But I like the fact that my mindset's heading this way, as I'm now seeing girls much more like I'd see guys. To me, men and women will never be the same, because they don't go through the same experiences and they don't act in the same way on average. That's never going to be the case. But the fact that I see women in a way, nowadays at least, all girls around my age, slightly older, slightly younger in this case, at least I see girls in a way, it's like, you know what, I actually don't have any ulterior motives of just wanting to have sex with the girl, which saying she has a foul ass would imply. because that would imply that I looked, which I did. I'd say I involuntarily glanced. It was no more than a quick glance, at least once, at the mirror while she was doing lap pull downs. And I was by the wall, over to the edge of the room. I was on the wall. My back was behind on the wall because I was doing some bicep curls. I say the word because a lot, and I could really grow in that way by using other words, as, due to the fact, or simply due to. Yeah, I just wanted to make that video. I thought, oh, you know what? Oh, there's one more point. I thought, you know what? I'd leave this for tomorrow, but it's much more fresh in my head now that I've more recently thought these thoughts compared to if I left it for tomorrow. The last thing I wanted to say is, in order to take my dad's advice that one step further, a way in which he didn't say, but which I've just thought of, would be to become trilingual. At the moment, my foreign language speaking abilities are monolingual. I can only speak English at this point in time. But the reason why I want to become trilingual is because my dad is trilingual. English, Hausa and Tree. Tree is a Ghanaian language. Hausa is more of a variant of Arabic, but I want to learn these two languages. My dad learned how to speak Tree, but I think his first language is Hausa, seeing as he was born in Ghana. I think it is, I don't even know. Have I even asked? This makes me think, am I more disconnected with my parents than I think I am? Fuck, that's... Wow, what a reality check, holy shit. But anyway, yeah, I think in order to really... That would help me grow as a person, to actually show some, not even empathy, but start off being further on the way to showing empathy. You can't necessarily show that all the time, but I certainly can show sympathy. My understanding of these two words is that if it's sympathy, you've taken what they've said into account and you've tried to consider their point of view. If it's empathy, my understanding of this word versus sympathy is that you've actually experienced something similar, so then you can therefore show sympathy. But sympathy is you're taking their perspective into consideration, although you haven't experienced the same thing, whereas empathy, you're taking their point into consideration and you have experienced something similar. Yeah, I don't have the same motives when it comes to talking to girls anymore. Not even slightly. Before, as I've spoken about in the past, it would be I'd undermine physical beauty, but now it's like, no, I don't even want to undermine it. As far as I'm concerned, it's not even a thing. It only becomes a thing if we're both flirting and she's touching me. Basically, it's gotten to the point where she's taking my trousers off. Then I'll know, okay, all right. I shrug. Why do I shrug? Do I, without even knowing it, think that it's like leading up to sex there's a stigma around that? Nah, maybe some things there isn't all that deeper meaning to it. Not necessarily, not all the time, but yeah, I just wanted to let that be known. In order to further understand my parents, to take my dad's advice that he gave me in the serious conversation yesterday, or at least one bit of it, my foreign language speaking abilities must become trilingual. Why? Because if I do that, that means I can understand what they're saying all the time. All of the time. Half the time I can't, because when they speak to family relatives in Hausa or Tree, TWI that is, by the way, a Ghanaian language, I can hear my dad in the background doing it now. But yeah, I have no fucking clue what's being said. I have no clue. But if I do learn and I do understand, then I would. But yeah, that was the main thing I wanted to say. And the other thing would be, there's any tip that I'd give myself, which I know I could improve on when it comes to actually doing what I set myself, it'd be sit on a chair, get the computers on the chair there instead of laying in bed, which I was doing earlier before making this video. Or I may have been actually doing it as I was making the video. I think I was, but yeah, that's just, as my sister would say, some food for thought, or said in the past during that serious conversation that I had with her, which was 4 hours long. 4 hours. It was well needed. And if I didn't want to speak to her, why would it be that long? If I didn't want to speak to family, why would that conversation be that long? No, one, it was well needed, and two, it was actually a rather constructive conversation, which was very voluntary. Instead of having a conversation with my parents, if they asked me like how are you, and then I in my head subconsciously think that that's a compulsory conversation I don't want to have. The serious conversation that I had with my sister was, in my head at least, very voluntary, because I wanted to let her know that I wouldn't take such disrespect if such disrespect meaning hearing dad shout at me. But she said, nah, it's okay. Past a certain point, it's like, no big deal. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. It's just, in her words, in that serious conversation, it's just some food for thought. You may have been able to learn from this. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.